Got new in town, I'm making friends, all right? A lot of friends. I mean, things could get really messy.
10 video games with psychopathic serial killer villains. Hi, this is Simon and welcome to another marvelous video where we dive deep into the world of gaming and explore its many facets. Today we'll be taking a darker turn as we explore the most infamous and chilling characters in gaming history. The psychopathic serial killers, from bloodthirsty villains with a penchant for torture to the mad scientists who experiment on their victims. We'll be delving into the twisted minds of these notorious killers. Join us as we count down the top 10 most famous psychopathic serial killers in gaming franchises. But be warned, this content is not for the faint of heart. Pixie Manhunt 2003. Pixie is a fictional character from the video game Manhunt, released in 2003 by Rockstar Games. He is a deranged and grotesque serial killer who wears a pig's head as a mask and wields a chainsaw as his weapon of choice. Pixie is one of the game's most notorious antagonists, and his appearance and actions are both disturbing and terrifying. In the game's storyline, Pixie was originally an overweight and mentally challenged inmate at the Darkwood Penitentiary, where the game takes place. He was used as an unwilling participant in a series of illegal and sadistic experiments conducted by the game's main villain, Lionel Starkweather. These experiments involved enhancing Pixie's physical and mental abilities while also driving him to the brink of insanity. The result is a monstrous killer who stalks the game's protagonist, James L. Cash, in a twisted game of life and death. The Origami Killer, Heavy Rain 2010. The Origami Killer is the primary antagonist in the video game Heavy Rain, released in 2010 by Quantic Dream. The killer is a mysterious figure who kidnaps young boys and drowns them after leaving origami figures at the crime scenes. The game's story follows 4 playable characters, including a private investigator, a journalist, an FBI profiler, and a father whose son has been taken by the Origami Killer. The Origami Killer's true identity is revealed to the player as they progress through the game, but to avoid spoilers, it will not be revealed here. However, it is revealed that the killer's motive is to force victims' fathers to undergo trials and challenges to prove their love for their sons. The killer believes that by doing so, he will find a father who truly loves his child and is willing to sacrifice everything to save them. The game's multiple endings are determined by the player's choices throughout the story, including whether or not they can successfully identify and stop the Origami Killer. Needles Kane, Twisted Metal 2012. Needles Kane, also known as Sweet Tooth, is a reoccurring character and the primary protagonist in the Twisted Metal video game franchise, developed by Eat Sleep Play and published by Sony Computer Entertainment. Needles Kane's origin story is revealed in the game's lore, as he is a former ice cream truck driver who becomes a twisted and sadistic killer. Kane's descent into madness begins when he is diagnosed with a terminal brain tumor, and he resolves to spend his remaining days killing as many people as possible. He attaches a flamethrower to his truck, transforming it into a deadly weapon, and begins a killing spree that attracts the attention of other participants in the Twisted Metal competition. In the game's storyline, Kane is searching for a mysterious entity known as Calypso, who he believes can grant him a wish that will cure his illness. Kane's character is known for his clown-like appearance, including his signature flaming hand, which he acquires as a result of a freak accident during one of his killing sprees. Kane's story has evolved over the course of the franchise, but his violent and sadistic tendencies remain a constant theme. The Joker, Batman Arkham series. The Joker is one of the most iconic and recognizable villains in the Batman universe, and he plays a major role in the Arkham series of video games developed by Rocksteady Studios. In the game's storyline, the Joker is a sadistic and unpredictable criminal mastermind who is obsessed with defeating Batman and taking over Gotham City. The Joker's origin story in the Arkham series is revealed in Batman Arkham Origins, where he is revealed that he was once a failed comedian named Jack Napier. After a disastrous heist, Napier falls into a vat of chemicals at the Ace Chemical plant, which transforms him into the maniacal and murderous Joker. Throughout the Arkham games, the Joker is portrayed as a chaotic and unpredictable villain who is always one step ahead of Batman. He is known for his twisted sense of humor, love of theatricality, and willingness to do whatever it takes to achieve his goals. The Joker's character is voiced by Mark Hamill, who has become synonymous with the role since his portrayal in the Batman animated series in the 1990s. Vars, Far Cry 3, 2012. Vars Montenegro is a fictional character and the primary antagonist in the video game Far Cry 3, developed by Ubisoft Montreal and released in 2012. Vars is a violent and unpredictable pirate leader who is feared and respected by his followers. In the game's storyline, Vars is the leader of a group of pirates who capture the protagonist, Jason Brody, and his friends while they're on vacation. Vars becomes obsessed with torturing and terrorizing Jason, and their interactions become a central theme of the game. Vars's origin story is revealed in the game's narrative, where it is explained that he was once a soldier who became disillusioned with the military and turned to a life of piracy. He is also revealed to have a troubled past with a history of drug addiction and mental instability. Vars's character is known for his iconic monologues, including the famous definition of insanity speech, and his portrayal by actor Michael Mando has been widely praised by both fans and critics of the game. Walter Sullivan, Silent Hill 4, The Room, 2004. Walter Sullivan is the main antagonist of the video game Silent Hill 4, The Room, developed by Konami and released in 2004. Walter is a disturbed and tormented individual who becomes obsessed with the idea of creating his own perfect world and is willing to commit unspeakable acts to achieve it. In the game's storyline, Walter is introduced as a mysterious figure who has committed a series of ritualistic murders in the town of Silent Hill. As the game progresses, the player learns more about Walter's backstory and the events that led to his descent into madness. Walter's origin story is revealed through a series of flashbacks and notes found throughout the game. He was born to an abusive and neglectful mother and spent much of his childhood in a state of constant fear and isolation. His trauma, combined with his fascination with the occult, ultimately leads him to become the monster that the player must confront and defeat in the game's climactic final battle. The Raincoat Killer, Deadly Premonition, 2010. The Raincoat Killer is a serial killer and the primary antagonist of the video game Deadly Premonition, developed by Access Games and released in 2010. The killer is known for wearing a red raincoat and wielding a large axe, and his identity is a central mystery of the game's storyline. In the game's narrative, the Raincoat Killer is responsible for a series of brutal murders in the small town of Greenvale. The player takes on the role of FBI agent Francis York Morgan, who is tasked with investigating the murders and ultimately identifying the killer. The Raincoat Killer's origin story is revealed gradually throughout the game, with clues and flashbacks provided glimpses into his past. It is eventually revealed that he is the result of a genetic experiment gone wrong, and his creator had intended to use him as a weapon. The Raincoat Killer's character is known for his menacing presence and the fear he instills in the player, and the game has been praised for its unique and engaging storyline. The Baker Family, Resident Evil 7, 2017. The Baker family is the main antagonist group in this video game, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, created by Capcom and released in 2017. The family is a group of rural Louisianan residents who have become infected with a dangerous fungal organism known as the Molded. In the game's storyline, the Baker family kidnaps the protagonist, Ethan Winters, and takes him captive in their dilapidated plantation house. The family members are revealed to be deeply disturbed and sadistic, with a penchant for torture and violence. The Baker family's origin story is gradually revealed throughout the game, with flashbacks and documents providing glimpses into their past. It is revealed that the family's patriarch, Jack Baker, was once an honest man who became infected with the Molded and subsequently lost his mind. His wife, Marguerite, and their children, Lucas and Zoe, also become infected and are unable to control their violent urges. The Baker family's portrayal has been praised for its unsettling atmosphere and the effectiveness of its horror elements. Trevor Phillips, Grand Theft Auto 5, 2013. Trevor Phillips is a fictional character in the video game Grand Theft Auto 5, developed by Rockstar North and released in 2013. Trevor is one of the game's 3 playable protagonists and is known for his violent and unpredictable nature. In the game's storyline, Trevor is introduced to a former military pilot and career criminal who operates in the Los Santos criminal underworld. He becomes involved in a series of heists with fellow protagonists Michael DeSanta and Franklin Clinton, but their partnership is often strained by Trevor's erratic behavior. Trevor's origin story is revealed throughout the series of flashbacks and conversations with other characters. He grew up in a dysfunctional family in rural Canada, and his troubled childhood eventually led him to a life of crime. He is also revealed to suffer from a number of mental health issues, including bipolar disorder and a violent personality disorder. Trevor's character has been praised for his unique personality and the way in which he subverts traditional video game protagonist archetypes. He has become one of the most iconic and recognizable characters in the Grand Theft Auto series. Layman Van Horn, aka Serial Killer X, Condemned, Criminal Origins. Layman Van Horn, also known as Serial Killer X, is a major antagonist in the video game Condemned: Criminal Origins, developed by Monolith Productions and released in 2005. Van Horn is a prolific serial killer who is known for his brutal and sadistic methods, and he serves as a primary antagonist of the game's storyline. In the game's narrative, the player takes on the role of Ethan Thomas, an FBI agent who is tasked with investigating a series of gruesome murders in the city. As the investigation progresses, Thomas discovers evidence that leads him to believe that Van Horn is responsible for the murders. Van Horn's origin story is gradually revealed throughout the game, with clues and documents providing insights into his past. It is revealed that he was a former employee of the city's sanitation department who became obsessed with the idea of purging the city of its impurities. His character is known for his eerie and unsettling presence, and he serves as the formidable opponent for the player to overcome. Marvelous verdict. In conclusion, the gaming industry has produced some of the most memorable and iconic psychopathic serial killers in entertainment history, from the twisted mind of the Joker in the Batman Arkham series to the brutal and unforgiving ways of Trevor Phillips in Grand Theft Auto 5. These characters have left a lasting impact on players worldwide. Whether they are portrayed as complex and tragic characters or pure embodiments of evil, these psychopathic killers have become a staple of the gaming world, providing players with a thrilling and often disturbing experience. It's a testament to the powers of storytelling and character development in gaming, and the ability of these virtual characters to leave a lasting impression on players long after the game has ended.